Wonder was the grace of the country. Any action could be justified by that, the wonder it was rooted in. Period followed period, and finally the wonder was that things could be built so big. Bridges, skyscrapers, fortunes, all having a life first in the marketplace, still drew on the force of wonder. But then a moment's quiet. What was it now that was built so big? Only the marketplace itself. Could there be wonder in that? The size of the Khan? The movement from wonder to the wonder that a country should be so big, to the wonder that a building could be so big, to the last small wonder that a marketplace could be so big. That was the movement of history. Then there was a change. The direction of the movement paused, sat silent for a moment, and reversed. From that moment, vastness was the start, not the finish. The movement now began with the fact of 200 million, and the movement was toward a unit of one alone. Groups of more than one were now united not by a common history, but by common characteristics. History became the history of demographics, the history of no history. Television is dangerous because it operates according to an attention span that is childish but is cold. It simulates the warmth of a childish response but is cold. If it were completely successful in simulating the warmth of childish enthusiasm, that is, if it were warm, would that be better? It would be better in a society that had agreed that childish warmth and spontaneity were equivalent to public virtue, that is, in a society of children. What is a cold child? A sadist. What is childish behavior that is cold? It is sadism. After generations of cold childhood after cold childhood, one piling on the other, moving at their best into frenzied adolescence, certain ugly blemishes have surfaced. An overt interest in sadism, for instance, and an interest in unnatural children. Americans, unrooted, blow with the wind, but they feel the truth when it touches them. An interest in sadism is an interest in truth, in that it exposes the process of false affection. A horror of children is the natural result of the spread across the grid of a cold childhood.
Set of injuries, neck injuries, head injuries, fractures.
Even amongst these courses, there is broad disagreement about the right and wrong way to teach a pre-adolescent how to function.
Art requires a context. The power of this moment, the moment of the events in the foreground, seen against the accumulation of other moments. The moment in the foreground adheres to the accumulation or rejects it briefly before joining it. How do the manipulators of television deal with this necessity? 1. By the use of false love. The love engendered by familiarity. False love is the aesthetic of the hit. What is loved is a hit. What is a hit is love. The back and forth establishes a context. It seems powerful. What could be more powerful? The love of tens of millions of people. It's a hit. Love it. It's a hit. It loves you because you love it, because it's a hit. This is a powerful context with the most powerful momentum. But what? It stops in a second. 2. By the use of abandoned shells. Pepper dresses up like a cop. Pepper dresses up like a hooker. Pepper has to dress up like a cop to dress up like a hooker. Now this, it's about cowboys. It's about doctors. It's about cowboys who want to become doctors, or lawyers, or young lawyers. Or girls who want to dress up like lawyers, or like a city lawyer coming to the frontier who finds that the law isn't what it seems to be when he finds out Jen's blind.
Gutierrez wants to be sure his students are in control of themselves.
So good.
Millicent,
I'm not so sure I agree with the way it's
point.
Go. It doesn't take a year and a half.
Former special forces
Good.
Miss has his kids smart.
The power shifted.
He says
In the
his
phrase,
kids do
I
know
like
how
Ike,
street
the
fights
power
and
shifted.
how to control
It shifted from General Eisenhower to someone called Ike, who embodied certain aspects of General Eisenhower and certain aspects of affection for General Eisenhower. Then it shifted again. From Ike, you could see certain aspects of General Eisenhower. From like, all you could see was other Americans engaged in a process resembling the process of intimacy. This was a comfort. Choice in respect to important matters became more and more difficult. People found it troublesome to settle on a mode of work, for instance, or a partner. Choice in respect to trivial matters, on the other hand, assumed an importance that no one could have thought to predict. So what happened then was that the important forces that fell outside the new scale of national life, which was the life of television, began to find a home in the exercise of preference concerning trivial matters, so that attention, aspiration, even affection came to adhere to shimmers thrown up by the demography in trivial matters. The attraction of inappropriate attention, aspiration, and affection to a shimmer spins out in its operation a little mist of energy, which is rather like love, but trivial, rather like a sense of home, but apt to disappear. In this mist exists the aesthetic of the hit.
And comes with $2,000 cash back. Invest that over the long haul, you could end up with a buzz.
I'll take it, or I could just test drive it. As is.
Hurry in and get $2,000 cash back on an 09 Hyundai Sonata with America's best warranty, 175 horsepower, and better gas mileage than Camry or Accord.
The generation is screwed, never get old.
Last fall, anti-government anger sparked nationwide protests by thousands of Myanmar's revered Buddhist monks, leading to a brutal military crackdown.
You can't get people to love just anyone. You can't get people to believe that they already love just anyone. You can't get them to believe that everyone else is already loving just anyone. You have to start with what they do feel and tease it towards love. Then bring the comfort to the surface. You're so comfortable. It's almost like love. It's almost like something you remember.
Around the world on YouTube. Our drivers slowed down just enough in front of the home of a senior government official for us to film the luxury sports car in his driveway.